MagicTaboo.com presents.
Welcome to Beyond Belief, the art of strange mentalism, with your host, Tommy Burnett. This week's special guest is Buddy August. And now your host, Tommy Burnett.
Welcome back, my friends, to Beyond Belief, the art of strange mentalism. I'm Tommy Burnett, and I am your host. And we have a great show lined up. A good friend of mine, all the way from Kentucky. He is a magnificent musician and a connoisseur of beard growing, spacecraft, character development, and luckily that's what we're going to be talking about today. Maybe not beard growth, but maybe a little bit of beard growth. Let's bring him out, my good friend, roll screen, okay? My good friend, Buddy August. And there he is. How are you, my friend?
I'm wonderful. I had shoulder replacement 8 weeks ago, and it's like I'm a new man.
Wow.
And that's I told you we just bought a new home, and one of the rooms lends itself to a 20-person theater. And my paparazzi back here, which was an original work by my wife, will be at the back of the stage, so that the audience will be looking at paparazzi, which I think is funny.
It is, and it's a lovely tapestry. Yeah, I wish I had somebody like Mola.
Which brings me to one of the points I want to make is, like so many artists, magic is one of the most artistic arts. I mean, we write our own copy, we personalize our own effects, but doing it alone, it's a tough road solo. Now, my friend Cody Clark from Louisville, he's done a marvelous job of it, but not for me. Having an equally creative partner like Mona has made all the difference. In fact, I wouldn't be doing it if she hadn't heard of my childhood interest, and she said, "You have got to let your freak flag fly." And that was 4.5 years ago, and I wake up every morning excited.
Yeah, I'm sure. And you come so well. I know you started magic a long time ago, but in the last 4 years you've come so far.
I had a 57-year break.
Yes.
Yeah, I was on the stage at 7. Magic by 10 and a half or 11. By 1959, I was getting $25 a birthday, which would be something like $350 today. Which in Louisville we don't get that, not that quite that much. But and I was an actor and a magician all the way up to 17. I was president of Thespian Troupe 2023. But when I went to my father and I said, "Dad, I want to be a theater major," he said, "Oh, who's going to help you through school?" Well, I already realized that girls and beer were going to be important. So he tested my resolve and I failed. Fast forward 57 years later, I go to a Louisville Magic Club meeting September 4.5 years ago. They embraced me. Lance Burton was at that meeting. He gets to about half our meetings. And I then went to the SAM convention out at the Golden Nugget in January of 2022. And I met a magician named Ryan Beyer, and he said, you have got to get in bed with Jeff McBride. So I was off and running with McBride. I'd already started, and when we get to characters, I'll bring out my notebook. On January the 28th of 2022, I started taking notes on the character and the routine development. I've been home from Las Vegas like a week, so it was like really fresh what I wanted to do. But one other thing, this goes further back than Mona. When I was 60 years old, I was involved in a lot of real estate developments, 22 limited partnerships. My partner and I owed $16 million, and things weren't going well. And I had a conversation with my 75-year-old self. And I said, basically I'm talking to an old man. I say, what can I do to make things, to take care of you better? And the answer was, get out of all those personal financial commitments. So I stopped taking on new ones, which was uncomfortable because in the upfront they were profitable. But anyway, by the time I was 75, I had no debt, and it freed me up to live the life I lead. And I am now beginning to have conversations with the 90-year-old me.
Wow.
Because this plant here isn't going to work quite as well then as it does now.
Right.
So, and another thing in intro, Matt King recently, who still has a home, he has a home about 2 blocks from the home I'm moving into.
Okay.
He was talking about the development of his show, his hour and 20 minutes. And he said that he realized early on that during vaudeville days, people would refine 15 minutes and then they would make a lifetime of income off of that 15 minutes. And he did that with an hour and 20 minutes. So it's no surprise he's had the many, many decades of success that he's had. And I early on realized that here I was when I really got off and running. I just turned 75, and I thought, how much time have you got? Hopefully a lot more, but I can't do everything. So I want to, thank you, Bill. I want to take on a few things and do them really well, like try for excellence on a few things, and originality in storytelling. Now, I come from Louisville, Kentucky, and Kentucky is in some ways ground zero for the oral tradition. One of our recent poet laureates said that she believed that to be so, and she believed it to be so because our literacy rate has always been so low. So, but anyway, I grew up, and the wild stories I heard as a boy and a young man were you were just laughing all the time. So, anyway, I'm going to show you something here, and because we're going to get into some photos that I'm going to refer to details on.
Yeah.
But the idea of making things your own and seeking excellence, this is a Harry Royden automatic rice bowl set. I bought this in 1959.
Wow.
and fell in love with it.
Yeah.
So that when I resurrected some things that were in my mother's World War II suitcase, they were in a closet.
Wow.
My first performance was the IBM competition in 2022. There were 500 people in the audience, and I'm holding this up and then pulling a little 12-inch by 12-inch silk out of it. And I thought to myself, I love this effect, but this isn't going to do. Mm-hmm. So I went sourcing bowls, and with about 4 months, I found what I wanted. And I didn't want the lips, which all rice bowls have had for handling. I wanted a sphere that I could lift up. And in fact, Shibalba, who is, I'm kind of think his stage name today. Well, anyway, young man, we were at his wedding in Cancun. I'd met him at a McBride master class. And I did a very ritualized blessing on the wedding with these bowls. And one of my things is I wanted to hold the shiny sphere over my head. And let me tell you what, my shoulders, I couldn't do this like 9 weeks ago. This was the best I could do. Yeah. So anyway, making things your own. Let's see. My levitation was another one. I started from scratch. I didn't know about anybody else's stuff, but I had an idea what I could do. Tommy, would you want to put up the... any questions you have for me right now?
Me? No, not yet.
Okay. Why don't you put up the character postcard?
I'm taking it all in. Okay. Let's see. That would be that one. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay. Great. The figure in the middle was my original Buddy August. And at a SAM convention competition, I had been in one of the magazines. It was Linking Ring or Mum, and they had a picture of me, not with the dark beard, with the white beard, and they said, Buddy August comes on stage and transforms from a really old man to a not quite as old man. That's not what I was after. So I tried dyeing the mustache and the beard. And character development, stagecraft, it's just a constant thing of experimentation and then refinement. And I will be talking about some early stuff, and then a couple of years later, what it went into.
Okay.
Yes, Robina, in answer to you, when I got divorced from my first wife, one of the first things I did was get involved in community theater. I'd had a lot of speaking engagements over the years for energy efficiency, because I came up with a product called structural insulated panels. But anyway, I've been in front of people the whole time, but not like this. Not like that boy wanted. Now I'm doing it. So anyway, there's Buddy in the middle. You see underneath his right side is the old professor, right? Which Mona has produced several shows called Not Dead Yet Magic, because it's myself and another 75-year-old. And he, in a promo photo, was cutting off my beard with those big scissors. Mm-hmm. One of the most interesting characters that I've come up with is Nolene, which is under my left side. And really, it's my mother. I was able to channel my mother, who you would have loved, and she would have loved you guys. Mm-hmm. I will talk about her when we get to the makeup part
Okay.
of
Okay.
stagecraft. To the left of her is Morty, who is a little old man from Brooklyn. He goes out to Coney Island. He goes fishing. You know the great, the great big sail magic fish, like it's almost 4 feet tall.
Yeah.
At the unconventional convention, I kind of produced that out of nowhere. I had to get it somewhere, but that's a long story. It came out of a shotgun that blew streamers into the audience. But anyway, the whole nother thing. He's a pretty hilarious guy. And then the far right is one called Boudreaux. And Boudreaux's just a good old boy from out in the country. And you just gotta love him because he's a sweet old character. He comes out of sweeping the floors for the other magicians. He's just the janitorial help. And then he's called upon when Buddy doesn't show up. He's called upon to take Buddy's place because, after all, back home, they called him the Swamp Conjure Man. Now, recently, I did a birthday party. It seems like the people from 25 to 40 like me. But I did a pirate, and it's called Buddy Bones. So anyway, character development comes out of my theater background, and there's no substitute for some training in theater. Recommend anybody who doesn't have it, see if your community college or your local university has a course, a 101 in theater, because it'll change the way you think of things.
Yeah.
Let's see. As far as character development goes, this is a notebook that I just had sitting around, and I found it today, and they're January the 28th of 2022, right after coming home from Las Vegas, from the SAM convention. I started taking notes. There's even the little drawing of the little old wizard man pushing the walker with the suitcase on it, and you can't see it, but there's a really bright light shining in his face, which you will see later in the photographs. So I took notes and notes and notes. I think in February, I started with McBride, and I competed. I want to say the IBM that year was in June. So my first competition in front of 500 people with those little bulls. But anyway, it was a start. Let's see. You'll see some photos of the routine that I took to all the competitions and that I was inducted into the Magic Circle with. And it actually has the old professor, one character, who then turns into Buddy August, the younger magician. But then also, Buddy creates a character of an old Indian man who is holding up the sphere, the bowls of Mari. He then later, two characters emerge. One is Buddy's father, and one is Buddy at 7 years old. And I'm doing all of these. A trick McBride taught me, you would think it was obvious, but it wasn't to me, that the father would look down and the little boy would look up. And so when I was delivering lines of one or the other, I would do that. I would stand up straight, look down. I'd hunch down and look up. So simple things like that create character. Let's see. And then at the very end of it, I completely break character. And this is something that's relatively new. I stand up on a bank of small LED lights that I've used to create blue light when I come out in the beginning. I then switch them to white. and it has a confetti cannon on it. But I stand up on that and I sing "I Will" to the audience. Now, what was the refinement? And this again is McBride, who he's a wonderful director. He said, "Look, you got to break character and come out as just you." So I come out, stand up on my little stand, and I tell them how deeply grateful I truly am for the audience coming out, and that they've helped me stay young. And so this aside to the audience as me. So there's all those different characters, but in the end, it's me. We're going to get to costumes, but costumes have everything to do with you got your costumes, you got your body, you got your facial gestures. Bigger the audience, the more exaggerated you're going to be. And that's you learn on the stage. That if you look at a close-up in a film, you can be incredibly subtle, and some actors make a career of just facial gestures.
Yeah.
But when you're in front of 500 people on a stage, you better exaggerate everything. All right. So we're going to look at several photos, and we're going to go over what makes up the technical aspects of theater production. And those are scenic design, stage machinery, including props, lighting cues, sound, everything from your mic, any voiceovers you record, and music. McBride told me this early on, he says, music is half your act. If you don't have music backing you up, forget it. You've got to have music. Costume design, and then makeup, which for the old professor and buddy, this craggy old face works fine. So in most community theaters, they had me play middle-aged to old, and I never needed makeup, which is fine with me. All right, so let's start with the first photo. Was somebody asking me a question? I see a hand.
That's because, hang on, let me put me back up for a minute. That's because if you raise your hand like this.
Oh, it did it automatically. Okay, all right, got it. You live and learn.
Okay, so is it that one? Or?
Yes. Now, this was for a competition, which when I look at it, I think, why to even accomplish getting all that stuff on stage was nuts. But that year, my goal was to win Abbott's. I had placed third the year before, and I didn't want to mess around anymore. So I gave it all I got, levitation and the works. And they were very gracious. I said, I only need half stage. Can I set up right behind the half stage curtain, and then you pull the curtain and I come out? So I was able to I had about 6 minutes to set it all up. Scenic design, I have used, now you're going to see some photos out at the Olive, Wonderground, where there wasn't any way to have a backdrop, but I didn't have 6 minutes. This backdrop of the fireplace was necessary for the fan affair in front of it to look like it was a fireplace piece, because that involved the levitation device. Prior to that, the levitation device had always been behind a backdrop, which is uncomfortable to set up. And so now, by the time I got to Wonderground, I'm out in the middle of the stage. No backdrop, no huge prop needed. So scenic design has a lot to do with, where are you? Well, strolling magic, there's not a lot you can do about that. You can with costume, but not scenic design. If you're on a stage, half stage, full stage. If you're half stage, your setup, if they'll let you do it, behind the half stage curtain is great. Most of us don't need full stage. That would be for a big illusion setup. Parlor is another thing, but I've used backdrops in a lot of parlor settings. I've used backdrops where there were 20 people. And for $15, $25, $35, there are thousands of backdrops. And all you got to do is loop it around with duct tape or whatever so that you can get a T-bar through it and put it on a tripod, and you basically have created your own little environment. And as far as selling yourself, it's a huge deal. We did a Halloween party. There were probably 35, all people 25, 30 years old. They went crazy. Then another one, it was her favorite thing was Taylor Swift. So I got a Taylor Swift backdrop and hung it. Like I say, these things don't cost very much money, and all at once it's a different show. All right, as other scenic design, let me have my photo back there, please, sir.
Sure. Okay.
These sidebars right there, they are like $175 a pair. Maybe they were $175 a piece. Well, anyway, Vistaprint has them. A lot of other people have them.
Yeah.
They deploy and drop down really fast, super professional. Sometimes you would only do one, but they've got your contact information. People take a photograph, they're going to have your contact information. Interestingly enough, when we get to props, I'll call attention to the flowers. Well, I'll say something right now. Those are Hughes flowers. And Richard Hughes is it in the world for feather flower production. When I did my when I got in the magic circle, I didn't have that, and I actually produced them out of a tube. It was comparatively, it was schlocky, but those flowers are worth their weight in gold. And I think for now, let's look at this photo for stage machinery. Well, behind the fan, there's a device that will take me 14 inches in the air. You're going to see in a future photo, you're going to see a suitcase that opens. Well, there's an actuator in there, and I have a switch to where I hit the switch, I back off, it opens, there's bright light in my face, and at Abbott's, the light was not bright, and the smoke didn't produce, because it makes it very mystical. I'm in a fairly dark room, blue light. I come out, it opens, and there's bright light in my face, and filled with smoke. So anyway, those were things that have continued to be refined. And that's the suitcase is right behind the flowers. Let's see, anything else. And you can see the suitcase is on top of a walker, sprayed gold, with yellow with yellow tennis balls on the front legs. Wanted it to be authentic.
Yeah.
Again, the bowls of Mari. I could play to 300 people and they'd see them fine. Talking about props and talking about the whole performance, and the Magic Circle mentions this. You got to not only be really good at what you do, but it's got to be second nature because you don't know what's coming next. Those script words had better just roll out of your mouth, whether you're thinking about them or not, and your muscle memory on the prop, same thing, because there's always something. Okay, let's go to the next photo. Okay, there's the levitation. As I say, there's a later photo that's going to show you by the time I got to Wonderground, no backdrop, and I was out in the middle of the stage doing it. So, and I'm continually refining that kind of thing. In fact, one of the levitations is where I sit on a magic carpet. And that hasn't come out from behind the photo, the backdrop yet. So I'm working on that. Let's see. That costume. Those are tuxedo pants, but normally I wear cotton pants because I'm uncomfortable. In tuxedo pants. They're scratchy. And I don't want to have to think about that. I don't want it to be a distraction. The hat is an expandable, when you pop it, it opens. Yep. And I used that in the beginning, but after you use it for a while, they sometimes will open on their own. And I produce flowers out of them, which are in there the whole time. And so I like that because there's an inference when you go like that and it opens that it's empty. Yeah. So I don't get the advantage of that. My sleeves I roll up after the Hughes flower pull so that I perform nothing up my sleeve the rest of the performance. Those are gold shoes to match the vest so that the black shoes that I wore before, when you're levitating, it's, I say, oh, look, my feet, they've left the floor. And so gold shoes, really drive that in. The vest hides the beard. So I worked with Jeff and we modified it. So basically pulled in, making lapels. We pulled it in all the way to the second button down so the beard is against the black shirt. That's really new. So, it's like I'm 4 years into this routine and I'm still refining it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Okay. Think of that one. Yeah.
That's levitation at the Wonderground. Now it's interesting as far as the set goes. That is not ideal because there's a lot going on behind me. Where the last levitation you saw, there was a backdrop that basically placed me in a room with a fireplace. And I didn't call your attention to it, but the white tip of the magic wand goes all the way above the top of the backdrop, as does my hat. Interesting refinement. There is a flower vase, a flower pot. And as I go back there to levitate, I pick flowers out of the flower pot and say something to the effect that magic helps us smell the flowers along the way. That refinement was when I have to take 2 steps toward the back of the stage, I don't have a reason for it. When I go and I pick the flower out, I have a reason for it. So that little refinement of having a flower, the other flowers I can't pick out, but having one that matches them that I can pick out and hold as I levitate is another refinement. Okay, let's go on to the next one.
Okay. Is that the wizard one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I have just pushed my mother's World War II suitcase, which I performed with for years, but then I wanted to fly. And so I wanted the maximum suitcase that I could put in an overhead. And because one checked bag I did got destroyed, and a set of bowls I was able to repair them. But so anyway, Elliot Hunter had one. They don't know now. You have to buy 10 of them to get it, but that's with that black vinyl material, very lightweight. But Elliot Hunter sold me his, and that's where the actuator is. So the lid goes up. I jump back, and the lid goes up on its own. The light shines brightly in my face, and smoke is coming out. So hands off, 3 special effects happen. Whether you call them magic, they certainly are magical, and they set the stage. So it opens on its own, smoke pours out, and the light even. This was a fairly lit stage. I was not able to get them to turn the stage lights way down and do blue light. But this was even with regular lighting. It was that bright. I had to go. I performed for years with some fairly simple lights that weren't this bright. These are driving lamps from a sports car. I can't look directly into them. They're that bright. But go to the next photo, Tommy, and you'll be better able to see the effect. The smoke is pouring out. My face is lit. As I've said before, our facial gesticulations are so incredibly important, no matter if you had different characters or not. But if you've got different characters, they're your main tool, is what you do with your face muscles. And so I wanted my face really well lit, and those driving lamps did it. I think that I can probably talk about the rest of this without the photo, so we can see your beautiful face. Okay.
Can we take a quick break?
Yeah, you're right. In fact, I'm going to go take a quick break.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so okay, good. So I just want to let people know that Magic Taboo has a spring sale coming up, and here's a little video so that you know.
Magic Taboo Bazaar Magic Shop is having its spring sale starting on April 17th until midnight on Friday, May 1st. 20% off on everything on the site. Visit www.magictaboo.com.
And that's it. Where am I? Oh, wow. What happened there? No. Well, having technical difficulties today. So, while Buddy is away, let's see, would be grateful. He would be. Well, I'll mention that to him. Red said Belly would be great for the Master Circle virtual. Uh, but we'll talk about that after. So, and he's back. Yay! All right. By the way, this has been really great so far. Far beyond what I expected, so I really appreciate you taking the time and being so thorough with us today.
You,
Yeah.
it's wonderful to get to talk about what you love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So makeup. You know, there's only one character that has to have a lot of makeup, and that is Nolene.
Okay.
I found the longest eyelashes. They're like this long. They're outrageous.
Oh.
I found like sequined glasses, and I have them down on my nose so you can see the eyelashes. A wig. The thing that I love because of the effect it creates, but it's kind of a pain as far as character change. They make peel off gel fingernails.
Yeah.
You put them on and then you trim them, and
Yeah.
wow, they really look great. So, you know, everything from some people do full clown makeup. Sometimes I have to shave my head. It's not a choice, and that would be if I have Morty comes out and he has on a hat. And when he takes the hat off, there's this silliest looking little black toupee with two little curls like this. So for the double-sided tape to keep that on, so when the hat comes off, it stays on, I have to be really shaven up here, or the tape won't stick.
Right.
So, you know, little details like that are what makes all this come alive.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Costume design. You know, one of the things with costume design is that if any changes that you do, but mine is as simple as taking off the cloak, I pitch it on the floor. It has my Tommy Wong thumb tip on it, so I don't want to step on it later. And I take off the hat, and I become younger Buddy. We're constantly doing things to keep the audience interested. I mean, yeah, it's great to be able to do an effect and do it well, but it's secondary to keeping them interested. And it's like your story, if you're a storytelling magician, your story's got to be really good. Your costume, your set, all of it. And the effects, well, they come maybe second or third because they have got to tell the story. It's like if I'm working on a couple of different effects, McBride will say, which one has the story? You know, which one has the best story? Because an effect without a story, well, even my strolling magic, everything I do's got a story to it. Makes you more memorable. Let's see.
Can we stay on that for a minute? And talk about why that is so important? about
Keeping them interested, you mean? Yeah. You know, I
that,
was
that and also that by telling the story, it makes you more memorable.
yes, yes. Um, you know, you can't keep everybody interested. I was doing strolling the other night at the restaurant, Ramsey's Cafe on the World. He's a Palestinian. His family still lives in the home and operates the store
Uh,
620 years later. But anyway, great restaurant. Only restaurant in town's got a tradition of a magician. So I'm doing magic for 3 people. And as I look down, because people will follow your eyes where they go. And when I looked up, you know, there was an older gent at the table, and he's looking at something else. So I lost him for a moment, right? And we strive to not lose anybody.
yeah, yeah.
I performed at Poe's
Oh yeah.
in Baltimore, and they only sold 4 tickets.
Okay.
Now, to me, I don't care how many people it can be one.
Yeah.
They're going to get the show. They're just going to get a more intimate show.
But,
You know, so I was right almost in their laps doing a stage show.
yeah.
So everything you can do to not have those lulls. I have it's basically a Scotch and soda that Merlin Palmer, Bill Merlin Palmer, some of you I'm sure know him, taught to me and Jeff at the IBM last year. And I've got a whole story with pirate and a queen and a conquistador, but I'm realizing I've really got to look at that script, and I've got to take out every unnecessary word because it's too long.
Right.
So yeah, how intriguing is your story? How poignant is your story? Because theater, 2 things theater needs to do to be valid. It needs to move us emotionally, and it needs to move us intellectually. And if it doesn't do both, it's not hitting the mark. So I early on knew that I wanted to pay homage to my father and all World War II vets. Once I started doing that, all the stories in that 13 minutes that you've seen the photos of ended up family stories. It was kind of like if the effect wasn't a family story. Bowls of Mari was my grandfather in the Philippines as a teacher. Once we fought the Spanish-American War, we wanted to start a school system in the Philippines. He was one of the first teachers to do it, and then traveled the other way around the world.
Wow.
So sometimes I tell it that it's in the Philippines in my regular 13 minutes because my dad was in the Philippines 40 years later. So all my props revolve around those 2 men. And then my father tells my little 7-year-old self, a story about 2 twin sisters who loved each other so much they never wanted to be separated. I had a little 5-year-old come up to me, and she said, "Oh, I just loved your show." I said, "Honey, what did you like the best?" She said, "Oh, the story about the sisters." You know, so she had a sister, right? If we can touch people in a poignant way, heartfelt, wow, you're really doing some good there.
Yeah.
And our duty, our calling, is to take people up and out of the normal everyday. I mean, we live in trouble sometimes, and people worry. There's a much higher anxiety. By the way, my last paid day job was as a therapist in a psych hospital. So anxiety is very high today.
Yeah.
And when I'm strolling 2 minutes, 8 minutes, whenever the food comes, I gotta quit. I want to replace that anxiety with wonder. In a longer stage show, certainly with wonder, but if I can also bring in poignancy, so people have some warm feeling about a family member they've lost, for instance, like somebody was in World War II. So, but keeping them interested the whole time, and visuals, theatricality, is huge. Doing that,
Yeah, yeah. Thank
guys.
you.
Have you got questions?
Oh yeah, does anybody in the audience have a question for Buddy?
Oh, let me say, by the way,
Yeah.
when we were on sound, I don't think I mentioned this. When McBride says 50% of your routine is music, when I went up into the stratosphere de l'amour with Mona, she was a DJ in LA for 4 years. So my music is just par excellence. Not only has she picked so many different pieces to fit the effect, fit the mood, but she stays on a dongle on the sound booth. She doesn't give it off to anybody. So if the volume needs to increase just a little bit, or a voiceover is coming and it needs to come down, so that's a wonderful part of sound. If you're doing it on your own, you have to simplify it.
It's difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think that far. If I had to do my sound too, it would be uncomfortable.
Yeah, yeah. I don't see any questions, but maybe somebody will pop a hand up. But at the moment, no questions. So
Okay. Have you got any questions, Tommy?
does Mona have a sister?
You'll make her day. She does not. She does not. One other comment. Take that cell phone of yours, get a tripod with a phone clip on it, and record everything you do.
Yeah.
It just, yes, I still do some mirror work. In fact, I'm working on a close-up with a close-up table, but there's just no substitute for being able to relax, sit back, and watch yourself work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I record every show I do,
Yeah.
and which is a great thing because no matter, we have a venue here in Louisville, and I did 2 shows there, and neither time did their video come out.
Oh,
So
wow.
my video was all I had.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important to have a backup plan.
Yeah, because your backup is often your it's it.
Yeah. It's happened to me before too, where the camera that was supposed to be filming me didn't film me, and luckily I have my phone filming.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
yeah.
you have to watch. I used to shoot some stuff in 4K, looked great, but you go to edit it or
Yeah.
go to upload it to YouTube,
Yeah.
forget about it.
Yeah.
So I do the highest resolution underneath that at 60 frames per second,
Right.
and
Yeah.
I seem to be able to edit that okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I usually do either if I can 1080p, but on my equipment 780 is probably about what I can do, and it comes out decent enough.
Yeah. I've been, my most common is 1080, 60 frames per second. And the new house we're going to has fiber. So, I mean, sometimes to load up to YouTube,
I know.
it's taken hours.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll help with that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Bill, you got a question?
Ugh.
Turn on your mic, Bill.
Yeah.
You always talk about Jeff. Did he teach you everything you know, or you just learned it on your own?
Yeah, this is interesting. Those bowls, you will see those bowls, which I took months to source. These right here. Sometimes you will see him use these very bowls. Not doing Roydens, but doing other things. And he got those from me. So most of my magic predated. Now he refines what I do. I never could have gotten where I've gotten, particularly in that time I've gotten, without him directing. And the best money I spend is an hour a month with him, and that doesn't come inexpensively. But I went out for 2 master classes, and once I went out for 2 master classes, I realized that it wouldn't benefit. I'd rather spend my money seeing him every month.
Right.
So I did go out for 1 weekend last year, but my time spent with him is one-on-one. And Bill, there's absolutely no substitute for it. No substitute for it. We can wallow around in our own head with an idea that wasn't worth our time in the first place. Or we can spend a lot of time on something that some little minor refinement will just make it pop. So it's like I run things through Mona all the time, and then once a month, or I mean, I emailed him some footage today, and I really don't go further than that. That's I don't want to be confused by other input. But that said, having someone, there's a jam here at the Nevermore. The Nevermore is like our little magic castle, and it's in an old mansion down in Old Louisville, which is loaded with huge mansions. And so anyway, there's a jazz jam on Thursday nights. Magicians actually go to a club. That couple owns a bar and restaurant also, and the jazz jam is there. And then every other Friday, the magicians go and perform. It's kind of like an open mic. So we have that here, and that's great. I would like for you to say, Tommy, what you said about Mona, because she is in earshot right now.
Oh, Mona.
Are you hearing Tommy?
I do.
She hears you.
Okay, so I asked Buddy if you have a sister.
Wants to know if you have a sister.
Oh, I have a sister.
Do you have a sister, Mona? Bill, did I answer your question? I don't know if I did.
Well, I have another question. What are you guys talking about? You talking about on the camera?
Yeah, that's all I use. I don't even know. I don't own a video camera.
Okay.
Now,
so you're using an iPhone.
I'm using an iPhone. Right. On 1080, 60 frames per second. And I'm able to edit that on the iPhone and then send it up to YouTube. Yes. So eventually I'm going to buy another iPhone, because this, I think I've got a 12.
I've got a 17.
Mona's got a 17. Help everybody. This is the best decision I ever made. This is why I live in the stratosphere du l'amour. This is Mona Fisher.
Also, have you been taking classes online, or you said you actually go to Vegas?
Yeah. When I came out of the SAM convention in 2022, and my friend Ryan Beyer, who was one of the main guys I met there, he said he'd been to a master class. He said you got to sign up for a master class right away, and you got to get talking to him on a monthly basis. So by either February or March, I was doing 30 minutes or an hour. Then at the IBM, I guess it was at the IBM, was the first time I met him. No. I think I went to a master class that year.
Yeah, you did.
No, every time
Which
you
it
go
was
to,
like, maybe it was in April. And then I went to one the next year, and I felt like I had gotten everything I needed. Now that master class, and listen, there's a lot of scholarships available for it, and there's usually somebody you can room with. Our young friend Sydney Lee from Louisville, who has become best friends with, as I am, with Frank Susanis, Franklin Williams. They room together out there, and there's a breakfast every morning near Jeff's house where everybody, what restaurant is that?
It's at the Starbucks.
It's at a Starbucks.
Yeah.
Everybody meets, and then everybody leaves and goes to lunch together. And there are a couple of nightly things that go on. So it's an intense use of time, maybe a little more than at 79 years old I want to do. But
right. We could have been in the same master class, because when I was out there for the SYM in Vegas, I went to sign up for it, but it was already full. When
the master class, yeah, you're only going to get like 15 to 17 slots in a master class.
Right.
Some of those will be have maybe a 35 or 40% tuition scholarship. I'm going to guess. So it's still going to cost, a chunk of change to go out there. Huh?
It's well worth it.
Oh, Jiminy Christmas. Life
No, every
changing.
time I go to Vegas all the time. Plus, I live in California, so it's a hop, skip, and a jump to Vegas. I'm going out there for Magic Live, and it's only cost me $89 for a flight.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. We went to Magic Live once. It was too gigantic. But what was really important to us that time was
we
that
liked it.
oh, yeah, we did like it.
Yeah, we liked it a lot.
All things Magic was like they've just. Brian Barr had told me you got to be in All Things Magic, but we spent more time with the All Things Magic people. There was a pool party, there was a penthouse party for All Things Magic, so that was a big part of Magic Live for us. Now Magic Fest is like a 2.5, 3 hour drive from here.
Okay.
Because of my operation, we didn't get to go this year, but we normally go to Magic Fest. It's smaller than Magic Live, but it's lovely. Just lovely.
Now,
And we
which one
love
did
the
you go
IBM.
to?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Did you go to when Matt King was the Man of the Year?
No, that was some time back.
Okay.
But we know him. He lives here, and
Right.
and he goes to Michigan, Abbott's.
Abbott's,
We go to Abbott's.
yeah.
He's always at Abbott's.
Always at Abbott's. He and Lance both
Always.
Louisvillians.
Yeah, I met
They're
him
always
when-
at Abbott's. And
I met him when they were a Society of American Magicians in Vegas at the Golden Nugget.
yeah, 2022, right?
Yeah.
Abbott's competition meant a lot to me for a lot of reasons, but one was that in 1977, Lance won it and Mac was third place. Very soon after that, their careers took off. So there hadn't been a Louisvillian since. Boggles my imagination because it's so close. It's 4 hours.
Right.
Who've taken that competition seriously. In fact, they have always had their picnic that same weekend. And so anyway, we did take it seriously. Love the people who show up. A lot of people who are like board members of IBM, Mike Woodward is a for instance, that shows up there. So that Abbott's is great.
The best magic shows ever, because they do them by nation. So one year it was all Spain, another year it was all Korea, another year maybe
Germans.
all German. Yes.
Yeah.
They don't do
the Spaniards.
They don't do the competition anymore.
Yeah. I think I won the last year of the Abbott's competition.
Wow.
I won the local here in Louisville, which is coveted. People really try hard. And then I went down to the Winter Carnival down in Pigeon Forge, and I won. It was a audience. What do you call it? When the audience votes on you.
Kind of like an open mic sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whose
So,
choice?
yeah, the
Yes,
People's
that's it,
Choice.
People's
So I
Choice.
won that. And then Abbott's. So I figured local, regional, national, and Abbott's occasionally would have somebody from another country. So kind of international. But I quit competing after that. Competing has a false constraint. Not to say that when you're on stage with other magicians, having a tight time constraint isn't a good thing, but in competition, you are really expected to pack it in. And I packed in my whole thing in 8 minutes and 50 seconds, and I don't want to ever have to do it again.
Because for me, then I have to edit all the music down to where he needs it, and it has to
Right.
match wherever his reveals are. So that's a lot of effort. So
Yeah, it was. We really, once we'd won Abbott's, that was it for competition.
Yeah.
You should send a video over to the castle. That way you can be a castle member.
well,
We found the castle to be very expensive.
not for yeah. You don't go there enough to.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Well, we need-
The food is outrageous in the dining room. What an dining experience. Love it. When her father was still alive, we came out to LA more. But now he's not, so we don't get out there so much.
We were there last year.
Well, we were there last year, and Franklin showed us around.
Yes.
We need the money for a new roof.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Listen,
And what's his name?
who's the Texan who owns
Is
it?
it the tech guy? Who owns it?
Yeah.
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 I don't,
That guy's made of money.
yeah. He had his.
He bought the whole lot. The hotel.
Yeah,
The land.
Yeah.
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 Talk to him about the roof.
And he parks his Bentley right there. So.
Tell him to sell the Bentley,
Sell
fix
the
the roof. No, we love the castle though, and Franklin and I worked on a 35-minute show to go because I can't remember the room that has the actual stage, pull curtain, and we saw Keith Fields and Sarah and Pop Hayden in it. But that's rehearsal. He and I are just too far apart. So, but the idea of that's definitely on the bucket list of performing at the castle, and I would love to be a member of the castle, but it's too pricey.
Yeah.
Our assembly
That's the
every
benefit
year
of being
gets to
part of
perform at the castle.
Who gets to perform?
Our assembly.
Oh,
Oh.
so are you in Los Angeles?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Yes, he's in LA. He said that.
So I can actually say I performed at the Magic Castle.
Yeah, that's great. The second Magic Castle cruise we went on, and again that was expensive too. But I performed the Bowls of Mari. They had an open mic, so I can say I performed on a Magic Castle cruise.
Right.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah,
for giving
thanks
me
for the
my
question,
time.
Phil.
Anybody else?
Ian, any questions?
Comment?
I'm a
Comment?
man of few words, but I've enjoyed listening.
You see that? He has AIMC.
Oh, okay.
That's what
Yeah.
I want.
Yes, we know.
But you can always buy it.
No, you can't.
Yeah, no, you
No,
can't.
You cannot buy it.
No. At the Magic Circle, they can't be
You
bought.
can't be bought. No,
Yeah.
they can't be bought.
Yeah. Well, it is that time, unfortunately, but hopefully I can have you come back again, and we can
We'd
talk.
love to do so. It's been fun.
I always enjoy talking to you and Mona.
My better half.
Definitely your better half. It's always a pleasure to see you both. It's been way too long. And,
Well, you're gonna come down and visit.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
We got a
Yeah.
great magic scene, great jazz scene.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a mini New York. You know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my birthday is in June, so maybe
Okay. Well, there you go.
I'll come out in June. Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
work. That would definitely work.
We would make room for you.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
In the barn.
Don't go anywhere. I'm just gonna put you backstage for a minute, and then
Okay.
we can say a proper goodbye.
Okie dokie.
in a few
Thank you all for coming today.
Yes.
It's been wonderful. Thank you.
Always, actually, now that you said that, let me change the view here so everyone can say hi to Facebook. And yeah, so once again, thank you to Buddy August and his wife Mona. And yeah, next week we have a repeat offender. He said he would be coming back, and he had a minor surgery, so he wasn't able to come back when we had a schedule, but he's all better now. And Buddy, I think you know him. I know everybody else knows him. Charles Snyder from Portland, Oregon, will be here again. A wonderful storyteller and bizarre musician, and a really lovely human being. And he's going to be here, and we're going to have yet another wonderful episode. But until then, don't forget to, there we go. I forgot where my button was. Don't forget to keep it strange. See you next time.
You've been watching Beyond Belief with your host, Tommy Burnett. Thank you to Buddy August. See you next time. Next week's guest is Charles Snyder, Saturday, April 25th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Well, that was fun.
Oh, that's cute. I love that. That's great.